Okay, our guest, Thomas Wall or Wall?
Walle.
Walle.
Yeah,
Walle.
got it.
And Chris Cunningham. Thomas is the founder and CEO. Chris is the Chief Revenue Officer.
You got it, John.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what Peter is doing with the teleprompter. Okay, luckily I know you guys.
Yes.
Here from Unacast, and they have a big announcement, but first, before we get to the big announcement,
Yeah.
tell us what Unacast is.
Yeah, so John, Unacast is a data company.
Okay.
And right now there are millions of sensors being deployed all around the world. Chris, you can show them like,
There's
this
our
is a
sensor.
typical
That's for
sensor,
you,
like,
John.
This is a
Thank you.
beacon, a Wi-Fi, NFC. And there's currently 6 million of these beacons out there, about to be 400 million beacons. But every time a customer interacts with these technologies, they leave a digital footprint behind. So Unacast is the backend of those 300, 400, 500 different proximity companies where we ensure we can collect and understand that data. So we actually figure out what people do in the physical world at a very detailed level.
Okay, so put it in plain English. What do you do?
So let's say that you walk into H&M
Yes.
and you interact with those beacons, you spend 10 minutes in the shoe department.
Yes.
Then we know that you are that type of customer. So H&M can then use that data for online retargeting, for instance. So instead of using only ads based on what you have done online, which is only kind of a fraction of what you do in your awake time, now we can also take your offline behavior into account.
Okay, so you're Nielsen for the real world.
Yeah, you can say that.
ComScore for the real world.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll take it. I mean,
Okay,
just
yeah.
we have the cookie for the online. There's a lot of interactions that happen in the offline. Jill's shopping for blue dresses. You're in the Hamptons buying certain foods. But
Yes.
all this physical world behavior, we know nothing about it as it relates to your online behavior. So the bridge or the opportunity is to link physical world to digital
Okay.
world by knowing physical world behavior.
And the big announcement today, exclusive, you heard it here first. What's the big announcement?
Yeah. So today we're raising our Series A
Okay.
funding, 5 million. So super excited.
US currency.
Yeah.
US currency, 5 million.
Yeah, so
Okay.
super excited to have that out now. Some great investors
Who are the investors?
Led by Open Ocean Capital, great data VC from Europe, also Invest in Nor, which is a Norwegian VC. And then we also have some amazing media veterans joining the round: Michael Barrett, Jonah Goodhart, Jason Kelly, Bill Weiss.
Okay, so we've got the Goodhart boys too.
Yeah.
Wallraff too. Wallraff always gets left on the side, but it's
Yeah.
WGI, right?
Yeah,
that's
sure,
right.
sure.
All right, and what are these guys? What are they hoping to? The media guys that came in, what are they hoping to do? Are you going to have like?
Yeah, so I think
You're going to go in bookstores? I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, no, I think they are just as passionate about the physical world, the data from the physical world as we are. That no one has really kind of captured where do people spend their time at the most granular level. They all have kind of very good media advertising experience. They see the same thing as we do, that what people are doing in the physical world, no one has really understood it. And the only way to understand it is to be that aggregator. So that's kind of the
What do
passion.
you
And I would add, John, that
Yes.
our position is, we want to be Switzerland for data.
Yes.
So best in breed. Who has the best physical world data at a granular level? Unacast, and we want the entire ecosystem to be able to feed off of that data. So I'm not building a media team. We're not going to be chasing RFPs. We've done that shtick with ad tech.
Oh my God, tell me
no,
about it.
No,
right?
thank you.
The worst.
The idea is to create a hub in which any API can feed into and access to this data for their own objectives.
So who would be an ideal? Who's your initial prospect list, or who are your first few customers, if you have any?
Brands, retailers, deploying beacons, airports, shopping malls, sports.
Largest retailers: H&M, Macy's, Target on kind of the big consumer retailers, airports, sports stadiums. That's kind of on the supply side. On the demand side,
Yes.
big partners that we've announced: Opera Media Networks, Oracle, MediaMath. Those companies.
But the big retailers are going to drive you crazy, don't you think?
Yeah.
Why don't you go to Warby Parker? You can just call those guys up and get in there first. That's my advice. Go after Warby.
So that's a great. I mean, it's a
Go
good.
to the retail directly.
Do their
you mean?
stores. I mean, you call up Neil. He'll either do it or not do it.
No, you're going to call Neil for us.
But the challenge is, John, that with the beacon, when you deploy that, and this is actually related very much to the Project Tango that you previously
That was previously
talked
mocking.
about.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you deploy, when Warby Parker deploys this beacon, what is the context of that beacon, right? Where in the store is it placed? That is a lot of the heavy work that we are doing with all our partners to ensure that we can put context to these small sensors.
Okay.
Like indexing the world like Google did it for the web.
And one more point, a lot of the retailers right now, we got to call it, it's early days. They have access to people's digital footprint, but they're not actually put into motion. So a big part of our journey over the next 12, 24 months is actually getting that data working for them for both retargeting and attribution, which, as you know very well, no one's solved for attribution today.
Okay.
No one's really solved for actually understanding who gets that point of sale, who gets that credit.
Different topic before we let you go. You, like me, have had enough of selling advertising and have fled it.
Yes.
Okay, why? And why are you in the beacon data space after 30, 40 years in advertising?
Thanks, with the 40 years. Basically, because the dependency on how dollars flow is rapidly changing. Agencies they're getting more fragmented in regards to how decisions are made. Data is the purest thing as relates to ensuring advertising campaigns can work. And this feels like a very nice neutral position that can actually, as I mentioned earlier, let the entire market prosper, rather than relying on agencies that may not actually, they're not really looking forward as relates to how new innovations and technology can work for them, which is why we're hearing about new agencies that are springing up in regards to employing this kind of technology.
But also, and I think this is where we want to drag Chris into, right? Because this data isn't only valuable for online advertising. Imagine e-commerce, John,
Yeah.
right? Like e-commerce is always about less click equals more money.
Yes.
So they recommend your products.
Last click attribution.
Yep.
Yeah, but then
Scam to end all scams.
yeah, but those recommendations, right? They're based on online behavior. But still, 90% of all purchases are made in brick and mortar stores. So what we do actually in the physical space isn't taken into account when products are being recommended online. So even though we kind of start out, kind of brought Chris on board, kind of beachheading in the
That was a good
advertising
choice.
space.
That was a good choice.
We think so too.
Yes.
We think so too.
Yeah.
We see kind of opportunities here using this very valuable proximity data in e-commerce, retail analytics, etc.
All right, good.
And my final answer is
Good.
no more lunch and learns.
No, what?
No more lunch and learns.
You know what I used to say about lunch and learn? Lunch and learns are where in media agencies invite you and you got to bring lunch and their staff comes to learn. And what I used to say is lunch and learn select for people who like lunch, not learning. You know what I mean?
It's a free meal, right?
Yeah.